Alright, welcome back. In this video, we'll go over probably the biggest Virgin Wick theory payout so far from XMBTO, who's having his first 24k plus month. We'll go over the specific strategy he's using and how he's getting this payout. But we've also got some other wins here. We've got JT, who passed his Lucid eval, very nice. Time to get a payout there. And then RN Trade NQ, who I believe had a payout recently, also passed another account. So very nice, very nice. Community is winning. But yeah, this guy XMBTO, I'm just gonna call him X because it's easier. X has a kind of a different strategy slightly to the rest of us. But we'll go over that and I'll explain how. So yeah, Virgin Wick theory can be used on different time frames. So what I normally teach, as you are quite familiar with, is we trade 1 hour Virgin Wicks, which then creates a 1 hour point of interest, which we trade into, and then we enter on the 1 minute time frame. But what X has done is, in addition to that base model, let's call this the base model, he also trades 2 hour points of interest with a 2 minute entry time frame, as well as a 4 hour point of interest made from 4 hour Virgin Wicks, and then a 5 minute entry time frame. And yeah, it's pretty interesting that he added his own twist to the strategy because as you know, we normally stick to the 1 hour and the 1 minute time frame. And I recently shared a video sharing why I think less is more and how you don't want to complicate your strategy. You just want to keep it simple, especially if you're new and you're learning. And I still stand by that. I do believe if you're struggling to spot valid setups and you don't have 100% clarity, then you should 100% stick to the base model. But if you're someone like X, for example, who you already have a deep understanding of trading and you're more experienced, you can simply extrapolate the base model onto different time frames, like he does with the 2 hour and the 2 minute and the 4 hour and the 5 minute. And he also makes a fair argument that the higher time frames yield better results because you have a higher probability when there's less noise and less randomness on lower time frames. But again, you need to walk before you can run, and clearly he has mastered the core foundational logic before expanding it. So I still believe you should master one time frame first. But I'll actually go through an example of where his model plays out and how sometimes you won't get a setup on the 1 hour, 1 minute, but you will on the 4 hour, on the 4 hour, 5 minute. So let's have a look here actually. So this is during New York. So on the left here, we've got the 1 minute chart with the CCT indicator set to the 1 hour time frame. And then on the right here, we've got the 5 minute chart with the CCT indicator set to the 4 hour time frame. And so this is during New York yesterday. Yeah, Thursday, 8 a.m. And so, yeah, you can see the crosshairs on both charts matching up. So at 8 a.m. there is, what do we have here? So we have a bearish 4 hour point of interest valid from 6 a.m. Let me actually go back and replay mode it. Yeah, so we have this POI. I'll actually replay this as well. Let's go to 6 a.m. Ah, it's being weird. Okay. All right, I'm just going to focus on this chart. All right, so 6 a.m., 4 hour bearish point of interest. But you wouldn't be looking until 8 a.m. anyways. But high time frame FEGs get engaged. We get a change in the state of delivery right there. Bang. Here's your SysD. And then bang, right at 8 a.m. on the kill zone open, you get an entry. Stop at these highs, targeting 2R. And that goes to TP in 2 candles, but it's actually 10 minutes. So yeah, that's like an A plus setup on the 4-hour, 5-minute time frame. But if you look at our 1-minute chart, where is it? Yeah, there's like nothing going on here at 8 a.m. You have a bearish point of interest and then a bullish point of interest. And yeah, there's just like no valid setup here because you could take a SysD here, but then you'd be shorting into a bullish point of interest. So it's not the cleanest setup. It just looks a lot cleaner on the 4-hour, 5-minute. But yeah, is this something I recommend? Not unless you are very experienced and you have a very clear understanding of the base model already. But with that being said, we'll go over some recent base model 1-hour, 1-minute setups recently. So this was Wednesday, 25th of February, 9 a.m., 8 a.m. New York session. We have a bullish POI to work with. Let's see if it gets engaged. Bang, POI gets engaged. Did we tap into a high time frame FVG? Yes, we tapped into a 5-minute. Yes, we are currently sitting in a bearish FVG, but a tool I've found useful when you have situations like this where there are conflicting FVGs is this new CISD indicator I'm using also shows you the current state of the SysD on multiple time frames. As you can see here on the top right, it is showing that on 3 out of 4 time frames, the trend is up. And you can use that as another helpful confluence when you have conflicting FVGs in situations like this. And I have found, just from backtesting and forward testing the past week, when most of these are aligned with the direction of the trade, it ends up playing out well. So you can use this as another way to determine bias if you don't want to use FVGs, or you can use it in conjunction with it. Yeah, I discovered this recently and it's been pretty useful. So in this situation, for example, we have conflicting FVGs, but the trend is mostly up. So on the 15, the 30, and the 60-minute, it is trending up. And then bang, we get a confirmed CISD. So that would be right there. And then you get tagged in the next minute, stop down there, targeting to a, and that one goes nicely. Another A+ setup we saw this week in the last couple of days this was on silver. So during London session yesterday, 4 a.m., we have some bearish points of interest to work with. Let's see if they get engaged. Bang, POI has been engaged. Do we have high time frame FVGs? Yes, plenty. And we also have another nice but not necessary confluence is the CISD multi-time frame trend indicator I talked about. All time frames are pointing to the downside. But usually when you have a bunch of bearish FVGs, you'll also have these all pointing down. They are usually quite aligned, but it's just nice to have another frame of reference. And then we have a confirmed inverse fair value gap from our lovely indicator. So you could market order in here, which is what I did, and then stop at these highs. Targeting 2R. This one I got out break even because as we reached our midpoint, I put it at break even and then got stopped out there. But this one actually ends up running to TP if you did not go break even. I'll just clean that up. But I feel comfortable with a break-even protocol, and that is what I'll continue to do. But if you don't go break-even for whatever reason, then this would have been a nice win. But of course, process over profits. You cannot always base your decision on the outcome. You need to base your decision on what was the process before you knew the outcome, and avoid outcome bias. But that was it for this video. Pretty short one. Not that many A+ trades recently. London and Asia have been pretty choppy. But that's a skill in itself, learning to sit on your hands, because not taking a trade is arguably harder than taking a subpar trade. So hopefully you've had a good week and you haven't lost any money, if at all, and you're just chilling when there haven't been any great setups. But yeah, I hope you learned something. See you next time.